So it's more than just your take-home pay. It includes the many benefits and perks that go into making UK employment experience a rewarding experience. I know anytime I travel, my parents live in Pennsylvania. Folks are so intrigued when I tell them I work for the University of Kentucky because they see our basketball team, they see our football team, and they see other things that we are doing in other areas. So we can help more employees take advantage of these benefits by just getting the word out. There are 4 pillars in our total compensation. First one's pay and recognition, benefits and well-being, learning development, and community. We're going to talk and focus today on our benefits and well-being. So with that, we're going to talk about insurance plans, retirement plans, the Know Your RX Coalition, holidays and paid leave, health and wellness offerings, financial well-being, and work-life programs. So with the health plans, most of you are probably somewhat familiar with these because you're reminded every year at open enrollment of the benefits that we have available. We have several plans to choose from. We have the PPO plan, Preferred Provider Organization. All of our plans are self-administered and administered by, self-insured and administered by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. The PPO has a $500 deductible, no more than $1,000, and the deductible is only applied to inpatient hospital, outpatient surgery, or high-end diagnostics. If you choose the PPO plan and decide to use UK healthcare providers, the deductible is reduced from $500 to $250 per person, with a $500 maximum per family. The coinsurance that you pay after the deductible is reduced from 20% to 10%. And then, of course, there's an out-of-pocket maximum that you will not, once you reach that, you will be covered at 100%. Then we have the HMO plan, which is utilizing UK healthcare, Good Sam and Chandler Hospital. The co-payments are very low. That's the advantage of that plan. The premium is the same as the PPO. So there are options. We also have a regional health plan, and that's for our folks that don't live within about 50 miles of downtown Lexington, so that they can enjoy those low co-payments and utilize the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield providers in the state of Kentucky. Our dental plan, much like our medical plan, we enjoy the UK dental, which is utilizing UK doctors, dentists. What a lot of people don't realize is that the procedures are discounted before you see the payment. So you may look at the grid and see, okay, this procedure is 50%. But what you don't see is that because you have that plan, it's also already been discounted before they charge. And then, of course, we have the Delta Dental plan that offers another two offerings. Over 15,000 of our employees participate in the dental plans. Vision, we use iMed Vision. We have 2 offerings, and we have over 14,000 in the Vision plan. So we have a lot of utilization. So I think the word has been out on the great value of the dental and vision. With our medical, we just looked at did a benchmark survey and looked at other institutions, and the average single employee rate or contribution is it's in the 70s. I think it's $77 as opposed to our $31 rate. And then, of course, life and accidental death and dismemberment. The university provides all full-time regular. And when I say full-time regular, I mean anybody with a 0.75% FTE or more, who is also in a regular position. The credit towards this, they provide one-time salary for basic life and one-time salary for accidental death and dismemberment. Then, in addition to that, each employee has the opportunity to buy up to 8 times salary. 3 times salary is guaranteed issue. In other words, you don't have to answer any questions or complete any physicals. With the AD&D, you can purchase up to $375,000, and no physical is required for that. You can also purchase up to $30,000 dependent life insurance, and that would be on a spouse, sponsored dependent, or child up to the age of 26. Long-term disability. This is kind of a silent benefit here at UK because you don't see anything on your paycheck about it. The university pays for this in full. Now, this is rather unique. A lot of institutions will charge some portion of the premium to their employees. Long-term disability, if you're disabled for 6 months and you have to apply within those first 6 months and you're fully disabled, the plan will pay you 100% of your salary for the first 6 months, and then at month 7 will pay you 60%. This is a great benefit. And then of course we have flexible spending accounts, which allow you to set aside monies pre-tax. You're not going to pay federal, state, or Social Security tax on monies for medical expenses or dependent care expenses if you have children up to the age of 13 or disabled children beyond that age or elderly parents who you are responsible for. Let me go on here. One of our most valued benefits, and most folks know about this because it is such a rich benefit, is our retirement plans. So you know that you have 5% and you can contribute, you contribute 5% and then the university matches that at 200% or a 10% match, and that's on your base salary. For new employees, they must work here 3 years before they are 100% vested. It's called cliff vesting. So if they leave, in 2 years and 9 months, they do not receive the 10% match. Of course, they receive their 5% contribution and the earnings that they made on that, but the match would be forfeited. But as long as an employee is here for 3 years or more, that 10% is theirs and it continues to grow and be contributed. Also with the long-term disability, if you would happen to be on long-term disability, university continues to contribute that 10% for you. You're not required to put in the 5%, but they'll continue to put that 10% into your retirement account. In addition to your 5%, you can set aside electively set aside money on your own into voluntary accounts, the 403B voluntary or the 457B. In each of those, and I'm not suggesting that all of us can afford this, but if you are ever in a place where you can set aside up to $19,000 in each. If you're age 50 or over, you can add another $6,000. So in total, you could set aside $50,000. Yes, ma'am. The question was, would that be a check or a rollover from a personal account? No, that would actually be from your paycheck. So it would be deducted. It would be tax deferred, federal and state, and deducted from your paycheck over and above the 5% that you contribute. If you have a rollover amount, there's no limit on that. You can, if you have a $100,000 account from a previous employer, you can roll that into the UK retirement plan, your UK retirement plan. No, it has to be from income. Yeah, that's an IRS ruling. Now, with that being said, when you roll your money over, sometimes you can receive that in a check. And the IRS stipulation is you must roll that check or put that check in within 60 days to avoid any penalties or taxes on it for that year. You could put it into a personal, no, in essence, no. What we usually would recommend is have it taken out of your income, deducted, and live off of that money you have in your personal savings account. Kind of a workaround. I mean, unless you have a whole lot of money. But you might want to set up an appointment with Todd, who you'll hear from here in just a few minutes. He's our financial well-being officer. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is just a quick little a graph I wanted to show you. This is a person who had $10,000 to begin with. They invest for 25 years. And I'm sorry, this is kind of not showing the entire screen, but they're contributing the 5%, and they would have $322,000 after 25 years of contributions without putting anything extra. If they added just another $25 from each paycheck, and they're paid biweekly, they would have $330,000. So it's just kind of showing you that $25, it does add up. And actually, I'm sure it would be even more than what I am showing you, because I just assumed a 5% earnings, which is pretty conservative. And I also assumed only a 1% increase in pay. So in most cases, you're gonna have even more than this. All right, well, I'm going to turn it over to Travis, who's going to talk to you about the Know Your RX Coalition. And we'll take questions throughout, and if you have any questions at the end, be happy to answer those.
Yeah. Thanks again. My name is Travis. I'm a pharmacist with the Pharmacy Coalition. We do the prescription benefits here with the University of Kentucky. We're called the Coalition because we not only do the benefits for UK, but we also do them for a lot of the universities in the state. That means if anybody ever calls and we ask who your employer is, we're just trying to find out if you're with UK, U of L, WKU, EKU, as far as that's concerned. A little background on that is we help manage these benefits with all the different schools, so we can bring all our buying power together, so we can purchase medications and prescription coverage with the power of 100,000 employees, as opposed to the 30,000 employees that we have here at UK. So that's kind of the background of why we're involved with other schools and why we answer the phone, Pharmacy Coalition, and who do you work with. So what you would call us for is if you ever have any questions regarding your prescription benefits. So you want to know if a medication's covered. You want to know the cost of a medication, prior authorizations. If you want to call and ask about drug interactions, medication you just got from the pharmacy, and you want to know if it interacts with the other medications that maybe you get at a different pharmacy. So the pharmacy there dispensing it to you maybe not have known what you were taking. So we're a good resource for drug questions, prior authorization questions. We can help you really kind of maximize your benefit, get the most out of the benefit, and really navigate it. That way you're not leaving any dollars on the table that you may have, or leaving parts of the benefit unused that you need. Some of the benefits are just directing patients to copay cards from manufacturers to help lower the cost. There is a discount program at Kentucky Clinic Pharmacy. If you have a UK doctor, you have UK insurance, and you're getting it at one of the Kentucky Clinic pharmacies, you can get up to 50% off that prescription, which can be hugely beneficial. If you're on 10 medications and they're all $20, you went from $240 for the month to $120. So it can be a big benefit and really decrease pricing for you. We also work with a lot of patients on prior authorizations. So just making sure the right information gets to the right people. You do have a carved out prescription benefit plan. So when you go to the doctor and you hand them your Anthem health insurance card, they're going to look at it and maybe send a prior authorization to the wrong people, and it never really gets addressed. So we can really help navigate and make sure that all the information gets to the right people. We also reach out to patients at the turn of the year. Our plan year is a little bit different. We're a June, July plan year, not your January to December. So we do reach out to patients when formulary changes happen, and we try to make sure that they're aware that medication they may be on could be changing price or changing tier or not covered, and try to head that off before it becomes an issue. So it's really the biggest part of our information. Does anybody have any questions for me at the moment? Or all righty, we'll go to the next. I don't have any more slides. Holidays and paid leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ann Stone. I'm an Employee Relations Specialist Senior in the Employee Relations and Leave Administration Department in HR over in Scoville. And I get to talk about the fun stuff, the paid leave and holidays. So regular full-time employees are eligible every year for 8 paid holidays. The one exception where we could have 9 paid holidays is during a presidential election year. So every 4 years, we get a holiday for that. What is great news this year for us is the president has given us an extra holiday, which is Christmas Eve. Is everyone aware of that? Yay! So now, and it's great because Christmas Eve is on Monday, Christmas Day is on Tuesday. He wants to come in and work Monday, be off Tuesday. This is a great thing, I think, for everybody, and I hope everyone's appreciative. We also had bonus days, and the bonus days are set ahead of time, and there generally is a date established of when you have to be employed to get them, and that is set every year. So this year, the date of employment is October 28th. You have to be an employee on or before that date to get bonus days for this year. Holidays and bonus days can have some options on use if you work in healthcare. And that is just based on the needs of running a hospital. And there are specific practices that apply to healthcare employees that might not apply to other employees. So if you do have questions on what if you have to work a holiday, when do you get to take that, you would want to talk with your supervisor about that. Some important things to know that sometimes people forget: you have to be in a paid status the day before and the day after a holiday. It's both. So we get calls occasionally with people when you know why they didn't get paid for their holiday, and it quite often happens is because they're not in a paid status the day before or the day after. For paid leave, the university provides 2 types of paid leave. We have vacation leave, and then we have TDL. Now, paid leave is earned and accrued, and it's based on your job classification. If you have questions concerning vacation leave or TDL, you can go to the Human Resources webpage and go to policies and go down and get the specifics on that. But vacation leave is accrued on, it's based on years of service and also based on job classification. And often there are parameters that your department can set on when you can and cannot use vacation leave and when you can and cannot use TDL, just based on practices and what your department has in place to meet the business needs. So that's very broad overview of holidays and paid leave. Does anyone have any questions or want more specifics? Yes.
I'm a part-time student in addition to being a full-time employee. Okay. At one of my other jobs for a different university, I was able to take a leave of absence for Friday. I was going to another Friday. I was at school, and I was able to use my vacation time without putting my job at risk. Does UK offer anything like that as far as leave of absence?
Do you want to talk to me afterward? I can get a little more information so I can better answer. It's a good question, but I think I need to get a little bit more from you to be able to help direct you there. Any other questions? Yes.
What is the time off for voting policy?
Oh, okay. So there is a Kentucky KRS law in Kentucky that says employers should grant up to 4 hours of paid leave for time for voting. It does not mean you're guaranteed that time off. And if you can vote possibly before or after your shift. Your supervisor may say, if you say, I need to be off to vote, and your shift starts at 8, your supervisor may say, hey, can you go at 6 and be in by 7 or 8? So the important piece on that is just communication with your supervisor on when you think you need to be off, because we want everyone to exercise their right to vote. Just sometimes issues come up where with planning, you don't want to go to your supervisor that morning and say, hey, I need to leave at 3 o'clock today to go vote. You just needs to be some communication and planning. Yes. Oh, it's for elections in the state of Kentucky. Yes. Good question. It was a hot topic in our office a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. So let's get excited about Christmas Eve. Yay. And enjoy your holidays. Oops. So I am technically challenged. Try to go to the next slide.
Let's see here. Oh, great, that's me.
All right. Pass you the cube.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Jody Ensman. I am the manager of the Health and Wellness program here on campus. We provide programs and resources to you as UK employees, also to your spouses and sponsor dependents. And if and when you retire, you and your spouse are also eligible to take advantage of the resources that I'm going to talk about today. Hopefully you have heard about the many offerings that Health and Wellness provides to you as an employee. Our mission is just simply to help you live well. And there are 3 areas that we focus on in trying to do so. That is being well, eating well, and moving well, which focuses on stress and resiliency, nutrition, and of course, physical activity. Right now, we have an incentive program going on, which is called the Live Well Check-In Health Screenings. Some of you may have already participated in them. They're happening this fall. This is where you receive a $100 rebate for simply learning about the status of your current health status. The good thing about participation in the Live Well Check-In Health Screening is that you become aware of your health status, but then most importantly, you know what you are doing well, and then you may also find out where areas of opportunity lie. And the good thing here is that we happen to have resources to help you improve in the areas that you might want to improve. And I'm going to go ahead and go over some of those resources for you right now. So for the Be Well, Eat Well, and Move Well offerings, I wanted to make sure that you're aware that the majority of these offerings can be either online, in person, email, or phone. We try to be somewhat flexible. We know that we are offering our resources to employees that are located in all 120 counties, some that are off campus here to the Lexington campus, some that just simply can't make it over to our office area of Seton. So we try to be as flexible as possible. Specific to the Be Well resources, what Be Well is all about is helping you become more resilient and being able to thrive at work and at home. And so we have health coaches that can help you individually to help achieve that level of resiliency within your life. Again, that can be done online, in person, email, phone, whatever is best suited for you. We also have practice groups if you need that accountability within a support group. We also have Be Well practice groups that go on once a quarter that also helps you in the areas of stress management and resiliency. In conjunction with the health coaching, we do have a health coach that specifically is certified in tobacco treatment. And so if you're interested in quitting tobacco, you can sign up with a health coach and receive free nicotine replacement therapies if that is something that you would choose to do. So for example, if you're interested in quitting with the use of the patch or gum, the university will supply those resources to you at no cost, which is a huge financial benefit. And specifically regarding Eat Well, we have 2 registered dietitians, Karen and Vanessa, who can do individual consultations specific to your own needs. So if you have any type of nutrition information, they can range anywhere from, I have pre-diabetes, I've just been told I have pre-diabetes. What is it that I need to be eating? Should I be concerned about? They can answer your questions specific to that. They could also answer questions about weight loss, weight gain. How do I control my cholesterol through healthy eating? We have one registered dietitian who is actually has some skills in the kitchen as well, so cooking skills. She's more than happy to meet and discuss those with you as well. So we also have a weight loss program called Eat Well Weight Loss. It is a 10-week program where you can participate either in person or online. Those classes are on Tuesday at lunchtime, the in-person classes, let me clarify that. Tuesday at lunchtime and in the evenings on campus, or I think it's at 5:15. And then we also have an online class, and that is on Wednesdays. Actually, it's transpiring right now at 12 noon. These classes are free to you. If you go outside of the university for something like this, you could spend upward of $100 to $200 just for some type of weight loss program or individual counseling with a registered dietitian. They are very, very knowledgeable and very willing to help and meet the nutrition needs that you might have. Move Well, that is focusing on the importance of physical activity. We've had a few initiatives here as of late that you might be have participated in. As a matter of fact, there were about 15,000 of you employees who purchased a Fitbit at subsidy. Pretty good deal. Our hope is just to increase physical activity. We also have physical activity challenges where then you could use the Fitbit device or any other device that you might have. You might use your iPhone. You might use a Garmin. You might use the Health Kit on the Androids. Those can also, you can use those devices to participate in our physical activity challenges as well. Keep an eye open for January because that is the time frame by which we will have a nutrition weight loss class starting, as well as another physical activity to get you going in the right direction at the beginning of the year. Move Well, we also have exercise specialists, physiologists that can meet with you individually about any physical activity question that you might have. You do not have to be a member of the Move Well Fitness Center over at Export Street in order to participate in that. So say that you are a member of the YMCA, which we applaud. We just want you to be physically active anywhere. But you still have some questions about a program, you're not sure how to achieve a specific goal. Our exercise specialists can sit down with you to design a plan that you could do anywhere, whether it be at home, at another fitness facility, in your office. They're very flexible, very knowledgeable, etc. So again, those can be done online, over the phone, in person, depending on your need. Speaking of Move Well Fitness, we do have a membership over at Export Street. You have access to two fitness centers, Export Street as well as the Seton Center. And we have multiple, upward of 15 classes, exercise classes a week that you can participate in, all for $7 a month. So it's a fairly reasonable price. I would challenge you to come up with another fitness center that has that rate. Our hours of operation are very flexible, 5 a.m. for those early morning exercisers till 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, also available on the weekends. Robin, you can help me out with the weekend hours.
8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Perfect. 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we try to accommodate the majority of the needs that the employees have. What else can I tell you about Living Well? Again, we are here for any need that you might have. Feel free to give us a call at 257-WELL or visit our Live Well dashboard or your Live Well dashboard on our webpage. Any specific questions?
Does UK provide or have available personal trainers?
Personal trainers, good question. The answer to that is no, in a sense that we do not offer personal training as most people think of personal training. We do not have a package of 8 to 10 visits with a personal trainer where they'll meet you at the gym at 6 a.m. and go with your workout with you through those 10 weeks. We do not have that service. However, we do have very knowledgeable exercise physiologists at our gyms who can design programs specific to your needs, ensure that you can follow that program. They will show you all the equipment, all what you need to do exactly, make sure you're feeling comfortable, and then they can meet with you again several weeks later just to make sure if there needs any adjustments, any updates, things like that. Another question.
Can adult children under 26 years of age of employees participate as Move Well, Eat Well, Be Well, etc. members?
No, they cannot. Yes. Chair massages. Yes, we do. We contract with a company called Corporate Massage. We offer 6 chair massage events a year. What we try to do, as you can imagine, those are very popular. Everyone wants them in their department. And so what we try to do is mix up the locations here on campus, as well as some of the local Alumni Park Plaza, Turfland areas to provide those chair massages to you. Those are free. That is something that used to have a cost, and now there is no cost to the employee. I have to say those do fill up fairly quickly. The one at the main building is actually next week, and that is already full. And there will be another one, I believe, out in Turfland towards the end of this month, which should be, if you're willing to travel out there, there should be availability right now for the chair massage. Question?
Do I understand correctly that retirees and their spouses are still eligible for the fitness center?
Yes, they are. Yes, we encourage them, and we would love for them to join Move Well Fitness, and know that we realize that the parking availability at Export Street is not ideal. However, we do have parking permits specific for retirees to purchase. Any other questions? All right.
While you're looking at speakers, a leave policy question came in. What is the policy for jury duty?
I would have to pull it out, honestly, to be able to speak completely to it. But it is on the HR website under employment relations. And if that's what's email on that.
Okay, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Todd, who's going to talk a little bit about financial well-being.
Hello, I'm Todd McCauley. I'm the Financial Wellbeing Officer in Benefits. So I came to UK about 3 years ago after 15 years in financial services, working as an advisor or supporting advisors. I became a certified financial planner. But one thing I realized is that it's very difficult to get conflict of free advice from the financial services industry, where many people are paid as salespeople. So they obviously have conflicts of interest. They have a certain culture at their firm that's going to lend itself to certain strategies for solving financial issues. So I came here to UK because I recognized people needed a conflict of interest, unbiased source of financial information. So that's really what I strive to provide for UK employees. So if you think of financial stress on one end of a scale and financial well-being on the other, I try to find people a balance somewhere, right? I can't eliminate all financial stress, nor do I think that would necessarily be helpful, because sometimes it's financial stress that gets us out of the bed on a morning like today, gets us to work because we have bills to pay, we have things we want to accomplish with our life, right? So it's finding a balance though, because financial stress can become paralyzing as well, because people can now check their balances on their phone at work. They can watch the bills bounce from their checking account or go through their checking account right from the comfort of their own desk. So, I mean, it can really become paralyzing. So people become less productive, and it's routinely listed as one of the top sources of stress when you look at the Stress in America survey that the American Psychological Association does each year. Financial stress always is ahead of work-related stress, health-related stress, and family-related stress every single year that they've done the survey. So one of the reasons why I focus, and one of the benefits I provide, is one-on-one counseling, is that that survey also shows that we don't have a lot of good social supports for dealing with financial stress, right? Most of us have someone we can talk to about family-related stress or work-related stress. But when it comes to money, a lot of people are raised, I know I was explicitly told when I was growing up, we don't talk about money outside of the family. That's a private thing, right? So if we don't talk about it in a healthy way inside of the family, we don't talk about it in a healthy way at all, right? So I think the one-on-one counseling is something that I am passionate about providing to employees. So I do that in person in my office, and if there's multiple people involved in the planning decisions, like a spouse or a significant other, please bring them along. It's good to get everybody in the same room together to discuss a lot of these things. But I also do these via Zoom as well for virtual meetings for people that are working remotely, because we have employees in all 120 counties of the state. Or even just before I came over here this morning, it was an employee elsewhere on campus that wanted to show me a website and had a question about something specific. So we can do a screen share, and it's really a great way to embrace technology to help people with what they're looking at. So I also provide web resources through the financial wellbeing benefits. So we partner with a company called Enrich, where you can go and you can take courses on different financial related topics. The reason why I like working with a company like Enrich is that UK pays Enrich to provide that information, because if you've ever Googled a topic on a specific financial topic, you're going to get bombarded with ads. Most of them credit card ads, most of them not the best decision for you, or you're going to find websites that you can't tell how that website makes money, if the advice you're getting is accurate or unbiased. And so this is a great resource just to learn about basic financial topics, but also maybe a good entry point for somebody that may want to start trying to seek education on their own, and then maybe schedule a follow-up with me if they have any additional questions. And then the other thing that I do on demand and on a recurring basis with some departments is do departmental presentations. So presenting to staff senate or going to a specific department on campus on any financial topic. So we define financial well-being as a state of being where you have the ability to meet your current and ongoing financial obligations, you feel secure in your financial future, and you have the freedom to enjoy your life. So you can see pretty much anything with a dollar sign in the name falls into that benefit, right? Or the dollar sign in the decision kind of falls into that benefit. So I'm happy to present on any topic. If you can get 5 to 10 people in a department together at lunch that want to learn about, our retirement plan or paying down student loans or dealing with other forms of debt, I travel regularly all over campus giving presentations. So that's a little bit on what I do here at UK. Like I said, my background is I'm a certified financial planner. It's a very broad designation. I know a little about a lot of different things, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. Any questions specifically before I pass the cube? Yes.
How many visits they get per year?
Yes. So if you look online, it says 5 visits a year. Right. I haven't really seen a situation where I've had to cut anybody off yet. But if you do the math, there's 16,000, depending on how you count it, 20,000 employees, and there's one of me times 5. Not everybody can have 5 appointments a year. I think that there's usually a happy medium somewhere in between there, where maybe it's 2 or 3 appointments. I'll schedule an appointment with somebody, and then my goal in each appointment, maybe it's a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour tops, is to give you a few action items by the end of that meeting. Maybe 1, 2, at tops 3 things that you could do to improve your situation. And if it needs to happen, a follow-up appointment may be one of those action items, right? Either for accountability, because somebody's been trying to do it on their own, but now they need me to hold them accountable to accomplish those goals. And I'm happy to to provide that. So I do some financial counseling / financial coaching, because it may be, it might not be rocket science, but just knowing someone's going to follow up with you may do the trick. So, yes.
Can you offer advice on IRS problems?
Can I offer advice on IRS problems? Like I said, the CFP is a very broad designation, so part of that is tax related. So I know a bit about taxes. If it's an IRS problem, probably going to help you find an accountant. Probably going to help you find a certified public accountant. There's web resources where you can find local accountants to you, and then I can share some knowledge about specific designations depending on what your problem is. But usually if it's tax related matters, we're really going to get down into the weeds, or if it's legal matters, we're really going to get down into the weeds, I'm going to refer somebody to an accountant or an attorney. And while I can't refer to specific individuals, I can help you equip people to ask the right questions and find unbiased advice. Question in the back.
So for retirement catch-up, we could have a visit with you.
Yes, the question was retirement catch-up. You could have a visit with me. Absolutely.
Now, I'm an employee now, but I think one of you touched on it. And so you can go through your MyUK portal, put extra money into the retirement of the 2-to-1 thing. Currently, can you do that?
So the question was, can you go through MyUK and add additional money to your retirement plan? The answer is yes. It wouldn't be part of the 2-to-1 match. So the match is always 5%, but you can add beyond that. You can go into MyUK, establish voluntary contributions, either pre-tax or post-tax, to those two plans, the 403B and the 457.
But you can do it as well if you don't have one of those other plans set up. There's a way to do it.
There is, yeah. So through MyUK, you would be setting up the contributions, which MyUK lays on top of our payroll system. So you're actually directing the money to Fidelity or TIA through MyUK. And then you'd want to go to TIA or Fidelity's website and set up that voluntary account. And then that money would go to that company for those contributions. Yeah, so I talk to people a lot about the retirement plans. Obviously, those are financially related. Also, yes, please make an appointment. It's a common topic for sure.
From a new employee, can you offer help with choosing benefits and retirement options?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to offer help with benefits and retirement options for new employees. I tell people, I meet with if you were to plot out where people are in their career and when I meet with them, I would say it's probably an inverted bell curve, right? I meet with a lot of folks earlier in their career, getting established at UK, picking the right benefits, getting established in the retirement plan, paying down student loans, dealing with debt, kind of establishing that financial foundation. And then in the middle of people's career, they get pretty busy, right? They may be busy raising a family, they're busy in their career. And then probably 10 years before retirement, people pick up their head and say, wow, I'm pretty close to retirement now. And so I meet with a lot of folks at the, maybe 10 years out, 15 years out from retirement that want to make sure they're on track and they're going to be able to retire when they want to. Question in the back.
Do the web resources have kids, they would know financial things in the future, things that I can go there to help teach them and encourage them to understand financial responsibility besides me just saying he would be financially responsible?
The question was, are the web resources kid friendly? Is it something that you could send your kids to? I would say absolutely. There's nothing that, I have 3 kids, 11, 8, and 6. So I have these conversations with my kids as well, but they don't want to hear it from me either. So directing them to one of these things that I think a lot of the content, Enrich also does iGrad, which is like a student-based portal here. I think I'd be a little more comfortable sending my kids to Enrich actually than iGrad, just because there's that college age that maybe the language isn't necessarily as appropriate as for young children. But if you have college-age kids, absolutely, iGrad is great. And I talk to a lot of employees' kids for them, actually, because if an employee has college-age kids and those college-age kids are creating financial stress in the employees' lives, then I want to address that as well, right? So I'm happy to talk to, I wouldn't call it an intervention, but if a kid needs somebody else to talk to them because they've tuned out mom and dad, then I'm happy to help in that regard as well. Yeah. Question.
My spouse will be eligible for Medicare in June. What do I need to do about Medicare/supplemental insurance?
That's a good question. So if your spouse is eligible for Medicare, but you're the actively employed UK employee, you probably want to keep them on our plan because it's probably going to be less expensive than Medicare and the benefit is going to be richer. If there's extenuating circumstances, please reach out to me and we can look at the specifics. But in general, you know, an active employed person will keep their spouse on their plan and, you know, avoid enrolling them in Medicare at least right away. Yes.
Where we can find you, human resource.
Yeah, where you can find me. So you can email, it's just UK Financial Wellbeing at uky.edu, or my email address is just todd.macaulay, MACAULAY at uky.edu, or you know, call benefits and human resources. They can transfer you to me. So there's a lot of different ways to get to me. Yeah.
Will our employers let us see you? Is this something, because it is a benefit, we ask off, but, and we try to do it during a non-busy.
Right. Yeah. So the question was, will your employer allow it, or will your department allow it? I don't know that they're required to allow it, but if they're unwilling to, then I could maybe come to you, or we could do something virtually. I'm willing to work around that if necessary. I think where our offices are located now, with a lot of the benefits folks, are just off campus at Export Street, pretty close to the MoveWell facility, actually, on the second floor of the credit union building. So I think maybe before or after a shift, there's plenty of parking there. So sometimes that works as well. How late? Right now, I have 2 young kids that I go home to at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not very late. But that may change as the family grows and gets older and can stay at home alone. But right now, it's a little early in the day. But I can do things virtually after hours if we needed to. Anything I can do to help. Great. Well, I appreciate all the questions. I think I'm going to hand it off now to Amberly with Work Life.
Watching the clock too, so I want to make sure we leave time for questions. Hi, my name is Amberly Fay. I'm the Director of Engagement and Work Life at UK and HR. So I'm going to just briefly, sort of high level, go over some of the work life programs because it is something that we just want to increase the awareness about, because it's a great benefit to employees and their spouses as well. So first, we have the Work Plus Life Connections Counseling. So this is it's a free up to 5 visits. So that was a good question, Troy. So we get, as employees, up to 5 free visits, completely voluntary and confidential, with our counselors. So we have 2 counselors on staff. So Ann Bissoni and Rhonda Henry. Fantastic. And this counseling is not just for us as employees on the health plan, but also our spouses and sponsored dependents and retirees as well. So all of those have access to this counseling. So we don't do couples counseling or marriage counseling, but they can direct you to services here on campus that actually do provide those services. So we have flexible work arrangements. This is always a hot topic around Christmas. So right now, actually coming up in December, as well as in the summer months. But we provide really just guidance and some resources around these. We don't provide or we don't approve or deny these types of requests, but we'll counsel a lot of employees, or we'll meet with supervisors just to make sure they're asking all the right questions and make sure that they understand the parameters around some of this. But because it's based on the operations of your department, it really is up to you as a supervisor whether or not you approve or deny any of these. So we have flex time. So flex time really is if you adjust your start and end times. Telework, that's when you adjust your primary work location. So if somebody works remotely, for example, that would be under the telework. The compressed work week, we see this a lot with 40-hour a week. You may work 4 10s instead of 5 8s, for example. So taking that 40 hours and compressing it into maybe 3 or 4 days versus Monday through Friday. And then the reduced seasonal hours. That's why I mentioned the Christmas and or through the holidays in the summer months. So we have, it's really a program for reduced seasonal hours. So from, I think the dates are online, the specific dates that you can apply for this. but it's December, maybe 2nd. I don't know, you'll have, don't quote me on the specific dates, but December through February, you can actually reduce your FTE status to to a 0.75 or above.
December 2nd through February 2nd.
Thanks. December 2nd through February 2nd. Thank you for looking that up. So there's 2 options there. So you can, again, you can request a schedule to be dropped from like a 1.0 to a 0.75. Anything below a 0.75, I would call Gale because it would impact your benefits at that point. So we typically don't recommend anything below 0.75. So that's an option. And then the second option as a part of the reduced seasonal hours is you can request leave without pay. So it's actually the only window throughout the year that you can do leave without pay and not be penalized for that. So it's a great option for employees if they need that availability and if they can afford the leave without pay. And I say that with a little bit of a caveat because, as Ann mentioned earlier, you have to be in a paid status to get your holiday or your bonus days. So there are some specific windows in which you can't do the leave without pay, or else you wouldn't actually get those holiday or those bonus days. And that's all listed on our website as well, those specific weeks. So with that, the reduced seasonal hours, you have to take in the full week increment if you do the leave without pay. Resources for parents. So we have a few that I've listed. So Big Blue Family Care. So that's one that I feel like I liked the word silent benefits. Someone used that earlier because I don't feel like we talk about that one quite a bit. But it's really just alternative childcare, a babysitter, occasional childcare. And it's where we take, there's an application on our website and we vet students. So it's really a network of students that have applied. And then we match them with the request that you as an employee would have. So we just make the request, or we just do the match, and then we sort of step out of the negotiation, if you will. So if you just need somebody on a random Saturday night, or maybe you need somebody to help pick your child up from school on a certain day, it's just a great resource to be to have available to us. Because we're pretty good about getting a lot of students, but we stay on top of their schedules and make sure that we have access to their most recent schedule. That way we can make sure it matches with what your request would be. So the Little Cats Guide, so this is great for new parents. So the Little Cats Guide is something that's on our website, and you can also access it through the clinics, the UK clinics as well. And it has a variety of resources for new parents. So we talk about what does FML look like at UK. So if you want to take time off, we have, the lactation resources. So the transitioning back to work, what does that look like for working parents, working mothers? So there's a whole host of resources available in that Little Cats Guide. So anytime I see or know of someone who's having a baby, I'm like, do you know about the Little Cats Guide? Let me send you a copy because it's just a great resource to have for new parents. The lactation resources, so we work a lot with areas across campus to make sure we have available lactation spaces for mothers transitioning back to work. And then we have the Summer Camps Fair. So the Summer Camps Fair, if you've never been, is a great, especially if you have kids, it's great. It's a great resource we do each summer. Typically it's at the Boone Center, but in March it's going to be at the new Gatton Student Center. And there's usually about 45 local vendors that come that provide a camp throughout the summer that you can send your kids to. So a lot of question we get is, what do we do with our kids over the summer when they're out of school and we still have to come to work every day? So a lot of times you'll see parents there meeting with different camps, and they'll align or they'll set up different times and different camps for their kids based on availability. So it's just great because it's right there all in one place. You can talk to, like I said, about 45 different camps, and sometimes they do drawings for free weeks, which is always nice. And then elder care resources. So we have an elder care specialist on staff, Terry Weber, and she is fantastic. So if you have questions or if you need resources, she provides consultations, a lot of guidance, a lot of those resources with regards to caring for elderly family members. So someone had the Medicare question, and Todd's awesome. So Terry's also another resource for anything Medicare related too. So she's a wealth of knowledge, which is really nice, especially when people move here. So if we're recruiting people, excuse me, and they move here from out of state, and they're still caring for elderly parents or grandparents in another state, she can actually help, because sometimes there's different Medicaid laws and different laws that impact what those resources look like per state. So she can help do some research, and she provides a lot of resources for people who are caring for their elderly family members outside of the state of Kentucky. So it's kind of a nice resource. But she usually about once a month, once every 2 months, we have lunch and learns that focus on an elder care topic. So if you can't go to those physically, they're usually here in the library. Those are available on Zoom, and they're also hosted on our website as well. So if you ever need access to some of those resources, typically you can find those online. So, and some examples that we've done in the past, we've had an elder care attorney come, excuse me, and talk through some of the resources or some of the sort of checklists that you need to think about if you're caring for an elderly loved one. So that was nice. We had an elder care attorney. We've had someone from the Department of Medicaid Services come and talk about Medicaid spin down. So I keep telling my parents, I go to these lunch and learns all the time. I'm ready. I'm going to take care of you guys. So it's just another great benefit that we provide. Okay, that's about it. Questions? Okay.
My spouse's job is in early January. If you'll move on to my who in HR do I contact to get that started, and when should I begin that process?
You may contact me, or you can contact customer service at 257-9519 and press option 3. And me is gail.carbol, gail.carbol@uky.edu. And another topic that came up that I wanted to mention is that UK does offer a voluntary benefit for legal advice. You pick it up at open enrollment, and you keep that benefit through the year, but that would be a great resource for those type of IRS problems, setting up a will or an estate and things of that nature.
Okay, very good. I'm sensitive to time. It is 1 o'clock. I know people probably have to run back. We're happy to take any other questions individually after this. Please know that you can always reach out to Human Resource website that has all of this information at detail and contact information for each of the units, departments, and specifically each of our direct names and emails. If you have any specific questions, we're here to help. We're here as a benefit to you as UK employees, and we hope that you utilize all of our resources and services. Thank you.